Hello friends, welcome to UDLCC support. This is MySQL logs part 3 video. In this video, we'll talk about MySQL error log. MySQL error log is very important to diagnose your MySQL database issues. So whenever you face any issue with your MySQL database, I'd recommend always go to error log first to see causes of problems. So let's discuss about MySQL error log. Now, please see the theory first. As you can see, what is the purpose of MySQL error log? You can see the theory part. It contains diagnostic messages such as error, warnings, and notes that occur during server startup and shutdown and while server is running. So whenever your server is running or it is going to start or shut down, if you face any issues between these activities, all the issues will be logged to your MySQL error log. So this is the purpose of error log. What is the location of the error log? So it depends upon this MySQL variable. We'll talk practically in the right panel. So this is the variable. It will decide whether your file will be in your data directory or somewhere else. So if this variable is not given, MySQL D writes the error log to the console. Very carefully listen. If it is given without naming file, MySQL D writes the error log to file named, that is hostname.error. And the third is, if this variable given to a file, MySQL D writes the error log to that file only, and the with .err suffix under the data directory. Okay, we'll see everything practically also. So how to enable it? The error log is by default enabled. Okay, so it is possible to have MySQL D write the error log to the system log also. Now friends, this is very important that you can write your MySQL error to system log also. So to do so, these system variables are very important to keep in mind. This is log syslog. When it is enabled, this variable is send error log to your system log. On, listen carefully, on Windows, log syslog is enabled by default. Okay, so log syslog is very important when you want to log all the errors to your system log. If log syslog is enabled, the below system variables can also be used to control. Now, what are those variables? This is the first variable, log syslog facility. The facility for syslog messages is daemon. So, this is about MySQL daemon. Set this variable to specify different facility. If you want to enable it for different facility other than daemon, then you can change in this log syslog facility variable. Otherwise, it will be MySQL daemon. Now, the second variable is log syslog include PID, whether to include server process ID in each line of syslog. So if you want to mention the PID of MySQL in each error, then you should enable it. Otherwise, it will not print the PID number. What is the default name? If you don't specify any specific name, it will generate a file that is hostname.err file, and it can be changed also. Now, what kind of output is there? So the log where error verbosity system variable controls server verbosity for writing error, warning, and notes. Now you can see we can write error, warning, and notes also in your log files. So when can we these error, warning, and notes will be written to log file? When the log error verbosity value is 1, only errors related to your MySQL will be write to your error log. When the value of this log variable log error verbosity is 2, then then errors and warnings will be written to your error log file. If the value is 3, then errors, warnings, and notes, also aborted connections, and the access denied. When any user access and it is not accessible, then it generates an error and it will log to your error log file. So what is the default value? The default value is 3. So that means your error log will be able to log errors, warnings, and notes. Now, what is the timestamp? The timestamp is UTC, universal time by default, or you can change it to system for your local system time zone. Now, friends, let's do it practically each and everything. First, we will see the log error. We'll see so variables like what is the first variable? Log error. So let's see error. What is the current value of var live MySQL error log? Now let's see the etc file. Sorry, this configuration file that is in you can see now I have commented it but did not restart. Let's start it. So to start system ctl restart MySQL d. Now see the default log error variable. See the default is var log MySQL d.log. So by default, it will generate if you have a Linux system with Red Hat or CentOS 5. And the MySQL 5.7, you will see the default error log will be in this directory where all the log files are there. Okay. If you want to change it, so now you can go, you can set it globally, set global here, or set global, then log error, then you can set the file name, or you can go to CNF file, CNF file. Now I have, like suppose I want to, I have commented it. Now it will change into MySQL error log in the data directory. The data directory is MySQL leave MySQL, var leave MySQL. So let's change it now and restart your server. If you change it with set global, you don't have to restart. Now see, you can see the path has been changed. So this is the log error variable. So where you can find your error log. Now let's see the logs is variable. This is the second variable we will have to see. So variables like I can say syslog. You can see your syslog is off, okay, and your syslog include PID is on. So by default it is on. So whenever any error or warning or notes generated, the PID will be also mentioned in your error log file. But this syslog is off. If you want to log all the errors in your system log, then you will have to enable it. How can you enable it? You can do it by set global or command, or you can go to your configuration file. Now see, to enable it, you can write syslog equal to on and PID syslog log syslog include PID should also be on. Now restart it. So whenever you change anything in configuration file, to reflect it, you will have to restart your MySQL server. If you want to do it dynamically, then you will have to use set global command. Now let's see. Your log syslog facility is always daemon. This is MySQL daemon. Now let's see. Log syslog is on, and this is always on, and this is for your MySQL daemon. So you can see all the error logs in your system log also. So where will be the system log? Var log MySQL, or I can say var under log. This will be ls-la. I'm sorry, this is var and log. You can see the messages. All the errors will come in messages now because your syslog is on. So let's see the other variables, and then we'll see whether the error notes and warnings are coming in your error logs or not. So the third variable is your log error verbosity. So the default is, so variables like verbosity. So the default is 3. Okay. So now if you see your error log, You will find error warnings and notes also. Okay. So let's see for the log error velocity 3. So to see that, let's suppose I started uh, my MySQL server. So it will generate either error or warning or notes. So first we can see the date time. Then we will see in the error log. The date is 9th August and 7:31 UTC time. Now let's restart my SQL server so that we can see all the messages in our error log depending upon errors, warning and notes. It is restarting now. Now we can see what is our error log file. So variables like log underscore error. So this is our, we have changed that if you remember. So let's see, like suppose I want to see the last 10 line of that error log. Here you can see the notes is coming. Why? Because notes is also coming because your verbosity, log error verbosity is 3. If there were some warnings, then it will also come, but there is no error because in restarting the server, there was no error. Now let's generate some errors. Like, how can I generate error? I will do some wrong entry in my CNF file, configuration file, I mean to say, my dot CNF. Like, let me write like A. There is no variable like A. So when you restart your server, it will generate some error and it should log to your error log also. Yes, this is the error. If you now see, you can see in that shutdown complete, removed. Now let me change. Okay, let's do that verbosity. Like, let me start. Let me change the verbosity to, let's suppose 2. It should log as per It should log the errors and the warnings. Now let's see. Let me restart the server. Now let's see the error log. Here you can see the error is also coming. The option A, which is not valid for MySQL. So you can find as per your log verbosity. Okay. So depending upon your log verbosity, you will be able to find your errors, warnings, and notes into your error log. So you can find those things in system log also. So where log, where will be the system log? Where log messages dot log. Only messages. I'm sorry. Here you can see. Okay. Few more things. Let's see about the PID. Whether the PID is able to generate in that or not. So we were talking about the PID. Log sys include PID. So let's see this variable pi etc my dot cnf. So the PID is 1. So it should generate the PID in all the errors. Like you can see, this is your PID. So you can find if your log sys include PID is 1, then only it will be able to log your PID number in that system log. So I think this is clear to everyone. Now, one more thing that I would like to mention here about the log file. So the deadlocks kind of error will not be able to log in that error log. So just a second. So to generate all the deadlocks in your MySQL error log, you will have to enable one more variable. Let's see that variable. So variables print. Okay, the server is not started, so we will have to change that, then restart first, because so this is your inodb print all deadlocks. It is off. If you want to print these deadlock errors to your error log, then you will have to enable this by setting it on. So there are two ways you can set it into your configuration file. If you are running this on a Linux system, you'll have to go for my.cnf, or if you want to set it dynamically, then set global, then this variable equal to on. So if it is on, then you will be able to log all the deadlocks in your error log file. So I hope you enjoyed this third part of the MySQL log. Friends, if you face any kind of issues, any concern while doing this at your production or your testing server, you can just write to me, you can just chat me, you can just write to me on this mail ID, you can WhatsApp me on this number. I will be able to help you out. Love to help you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I also hope that you will be able to implement everything at your server successfully. Thank you so much for enjoying this video.